Welcome, welcome to this extraordinarily special Earth Family Call, which is for the first time combining two extraordinary countries, going to be both in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and in Australia. We are right now physically in Australia in a very special place. And this is
okay. Can you hear?
Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Are we audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
So herewith we officially open the Earth Family Countries Call on the One Home Journey, Aotearoa, New Zealand and Australia. Welcome you here in Sydney. And we are blessed and fortunate that we are here at the St. John's
Scar Tree
Indigenous Ministry, and we have Aboriginal Pastor Ray Minican with us to open the call officially and to do the acknowledgements. Thank you.
Yes. Well, we're here in Australia on Gadigal land, and we do have, as we saw, might have been an image of our scarred tree here. It's the only one in the inner city of the Sydney CBD that's left after 200 years. And so we have claimed it as a part of our story. And what it symbolizes for us is the fact that it's a scarred tree. Our old people cut something out of that to use as an artifact for themselves. But for us today, what we see in it, it symbolizes a number of things. It symbolizes that this tree here has been here possibly before 1788, which is very, very historical for us. Number two, it represents the scars of our people. We're a very scarred people. And here in this particular suburb that the scar tree sits is just up the road here, is where the criminal courts took our children and criminalized them and stuck them in institutions. So we're a scarred tree because of that as well. It represents their scars, the scars of our stolen generation. And it also represents, for us as Indigenous theologians, we see it also as a way of describing the incredible scars that our God suffers. We don't see God as a suffering God, but he is. And he was bruised for our iniquities, and all of our sins were laid upon him. The cross is another symbol of that incredible pain that we've exerted on our Creator. And so it represents all of those things. And from this scarred tree, underneath its branches there, I have here in my hand here, I held in my hand a piece of the soil from whose lands I now live on, which is the Gadigal Nation. And the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and I want to acknowledge the wisdom, knowledge, and expertise of the Gadigal peoples and the custodianship of these lands that I now call my home. I acknowledge and recognize their ancestors whose wisdom have cared for this land for millennia. And through the soil, I recognize and acknowledge the families and children of the Gadigal clan who lived and celebrated and communed together on these lands. I also acknowledge and recognize all the blood that was shed on these lands, either in violence or in innocence. And I acknowledge and recognize the elders who have come recently, who have toiled and died on these lands and left us a legacy that all people can enjoy the benefits of their labor on this soil today. I also acknowledge the responsibility now that I have in stewarding and caring for these lands. This responsibility now rests on my shoulders. And my responsibility is to care for the land and soil upon which I now live so that our children's children's children can celebrate and enjoy the fruits of this soil so that they too can live a healthy, prosperous and happy life on the land and soil of the Gadigal people. But I also acknowledge and recognize our collective responsibility that we all have to care for all the lands and soils we have the honor to be birthed upon, to live upon, and to work upon, and from wherever you come from today. So let us affirm our connection to the lands we now live on and work upon in your own areas. Let's also acknowledge our elders who worked in those lands for our benefits. And let us make a pledge that we too will steward the land according to the wisdom, knowledge, and expertise that we now possess, so that we can pass on to our children's children the best that our land can provide for them and their children's children. Let's also undertake together the important task to care for Mother Earth, so that our future generations are not robbed or deprived of their rightful inheritance. That is our responsibility as human beings to pass on to them, so that they too can enjoy the same entitlements and benefits that we have enjoyed on these lands and on the lands that you live on that we call home. What an incredible responsibility. And I thank you that we can share this responsibility with you and you with us here in Gadigal country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear Pastor Ray Miniken, for opening and blessing this call from the scarred tree, from the scars of your people, the scars on your land, and reminding us of the legacy that you are working for, carrying forward, and that we jointly acknowledge. I want to acknowledge the presence also of Ray's wife, Sharon, and his daughter, Larissa, who is with us. Larissa?
Are jointly part of the Scar Tree Indigenous Ministry. So very, very honored that we can be in this beautiful sacred space for this very important meeting. And
to my right, I also want to acknowledge the presence of Auntie. Auntie is an Aboriginal elder, Glendra Stubbs, who is the elder in residence of the Jambana Institute at the University of Technology of Sydney, which we visited today, and you will later hear more from her. And to her right, I want to acknowledge Gillian Brannigan, who has been also a former co-chair of the Sorry Day Commission. In fact, actually, also Pastor Ray Miniken had been a former co-chair of this Healing Day for Australia. And with that, we are ready to dive into the call. We are taking a leap over the ocean, and we are moving to Aotearoa, to New Zealand. And we are moving into the home of grandmother Pauline Tangiora, grandmother Fire Pauline, as she is known by her people, a woman who has dedicated her life for the rights of her people, the Maori people of Aotearoa, but not only for her own land. Pauline, in her life, has shown up everywhere on the planet where there was a cause to fight for, in particular in areas of war. She has been active, one of the architects of the Earth Charter. She is one of the founding members of the World Future Council. And today is an extraordinary day because Pauline's life work is honored today. And we want to begin with this very special occasion, an honor which is bestowed on Pauline Eunice Tangiora, grandmother Pauline, on behalf also of all your people, which is an honorary PhD standing for a planetary healing diploma, PhD, an honorary doctorate of the One Home University that we are building across the planet, country to country. And I'm calling upon our co-chair, Dr. Youssef Mahmoud, former Undersecretary General of the United Nations, calling us, I guess, today from Tunisia, his home country, to bestow this honor on our sister, mother, and grandmother, Pauline.
Thank you, Alexander, and good greetings to all of you. What an honor for me to present this diploma. But before I do that, let me acknowledge the moving words of the good pastor who eloquently invited us, all of us in these troubled times, to be good future ancestors. Thank you for that call, sir. And it is my honor and pleasure to read the citation written in this diploma that is conferred today, this planetary healing diploma, to Pauline Eunice Stangiora, Maori elder, Rongoma Wahin tribe, Aotearoa. And this PhD, this planetary healing diploma, is deservedly offered to her in recognition of your indigenous knowledge and wisdom and your lifetime's work devoted to, among other things, restoring and preserving the indigenous knowledge and language of the Maori peoples, serving as peace negotiator for your tribe, defending the rights and sovereignty of indigenous populations worldwide, working relentlessly for peace at the local, national, and planetary levels all your life. This diploma is offered on the auspicious day today of Friday, 28th of February, 2025, and co-signed by Professor Jean Houston, founder of Social Artistry, my esteemed and mentor and good co-chair, and my humble self, Yusuf Mahmoud from Tunisia. We are honored, Madam, we are indeed truly honored to present this diploma on behalf of the movement for human, cultural, and planetary generation called Home for Humanity. Thank you for your service to humanity.
Ngā iwi o ngā taiao, ki te ao marama, ki te ao i ngā whā tāwhaki rā. Nō reira, tuatahi te mihi ki te atua tuhe, ki te atua kaharawa. He hōnore, he kororia, he maungarongi ki runga te whenua, me ngā whakaro pai ki ngā tangata katoa. Ei hua mana ki tia mai mātou, i te ao, i te pō, i ngā wā katoa. Kororia ki tō i matapu. Amen.
To everybody. Mahmoud, so good to hear you after so many years. Thank you for nice words you've spoken. We have sadness in our hearts today. It's one of our young men was killed on the road this morning. So my son has just been a blessing for us all. I owe so much for my family who had to put up with me so many years of not being home at night and wondering where I was. It's my husband who passed away 30 years ago. We set on this task together. And my task over the last 4 years, I give thanks to the women's feminist movement of Texas, who sent a message to the Maori Women's League. We would like somebody to come on a caravan trip to America for peace. At that time, being the regional president, it was offered to me. And my husband said, no, you can't go. And the women were quite upset. And then during our lunch hour, he said to me, do you wish to go? And I said, well, we just be married. And I said, what do you think? And he said, I have a vision that our women have to go out around the world and see what we have in Aotearoa, New Zealand. So I give thanks to him and all the women that have passed on. No, Idi Hapeti Ramson, and a common Finnick, in the regards, in fire, Aotearoa. We've all worked well together. Unfortunately, it's a lonely world now they've passed on. And also I'd like to thank the Wahine Corps, who it's the first day that I went on the plane to Auckland to start my journey, the UN. Now, Guy Huata and her group, and a brown envelope, and then the airport called my name with a parcel here. When I opened the parcel, out fell money, coins, notes. They had all heard that we had no money to go, but my husband had taken an overdraft at the bank. So those are the women that have really we owe this gift to today. Because without our people, we are nothing. I also pay homage to the grandmothers, international grandmothers, who moved the world to the peaceful work. I thank Mary and Jenny, Mary Wilson and Jenny Cracknell, who accompanied me on many of my roles. Joe Torito. I never went alone. As I said to people overseas, within Maoridom, we do not do something on our own. We always ask someone to accompany us. And the success of the world, the future will be uplifting our young people for peaceful lives. And parents must respect their young people, because our young people cannot respect anyone unless they learn from their parents. And Mother Earth is the biggest parent teacher of all. And running our sky farm, when they move together, we can move mountains. So thank you very much, Mana and Valentine, for all your kindness to me and to those who travelled with me. And finally, the moon would also accompany me, like the former Paul Reeves, and others who also passed away. Peter Sharples, who gave me a boost once and said, you can do whatever you want to do. I wrote my own PhD. So if you want to get out there and do something, you got to do. Don't think somebody else is going to do it for you. So Mother Earth provides the sustenance, but we must look after her. Otherwise, there's only one Earth and one Mother. And the sea and the tides work together. So, no later, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Rongo mai wā hine te whaia o te motu o Ngāti Kahu. Ngā kupu whakare te reo o taki timu I ngā iwi tūarangi. Haere mai rā, haere mai. Wairoa ho pupu o ngene matangira. Wairoa tapopora. Ngā kupu whakare te reo o taki timu I ngā iwi tūarangi. Haere mai rā, haere mai. Nō reira rā, e ngā mana, e ngā iwi, e ngā reo, kia ora katato katoa, nō mai, haere mai, e ngā mate, haere, haere, haere.
Kia ora.
How powerful. We are all holding hands together here and everywhere around the world, saluting this first ever PhD, what every PhD should be, a planetary healing diploma of the One Home UNIVEARTHSITY. And now, Dr. Pauline Eunice Tangiora, you are officially the first ever Indigenous Elder in Residence of the One Home UNIVERSITY. We are so happy that you could be surrounded by members of your family as well as your loved ones around the world. And amongst those who love you so much are the other members, counselors, and team of the World Future Council. And today we a highlight of the One Home journey in country 10, which was Aotearoa, was coming and spending days with you, dearest Fire Pauline, and learning from you, listening to you, visiting the Nuhaka school where your father studied and awarding them the certificate of the award of Home for Humanity. So we remember, we will carry that wisdom that you shared with us throughout the journey. And we are so happy now that the world can be witness to this ceremony of Dr. Yusuf Mahmood, such a great peacemaker in the United Nations, recognizing your Indigenous wisdom, your peacemaking for the future. And with that, we are calling upon, it was in your home that you were congratulating Dr. Neshan Gunasekara, the new CEO of World Future Council, for taking on this role. And we call upon him to give a vote of congratulations.
Greetings to everybody. An incredible honor. Thank you so much, Rama and Alexander, for the invitation, and a great honor to follow the wisdom of the message of Grandmother Pauline. Congratulations on behalf of the World Future Council, but all the many, many people that you have inspired throughout your life, including myself, with Rama, and many others, including Alexandra, who's joined on this call, for inspiring the journey of the World Future Council. And here, just two important messages that I want to share with everybody is Grandmother Pauline then introduced me and the world through the first inaugural meeting of the World Future Council in 2007 to the origins of Mother Earth and Father Sky. and reminded us not to forget to listen to all the little creatures on our planet. She told us that if you can listen and if you can hear the words and the wisdom in those little creatures, then we know that Mother Earth is healthy. And this is a story that I will carry with me. And one additional story for Rama and Alexander is another mentor of ours, including mine, is Judge Christopher Veera Mantri, a founding councillor of the World Future Council, but who spent many years in Australia connecting the wisdom in the legal systems of the Aborigine and of the Maori at the highest court in the world, the International Court of Justice. So I want to remind the wisdom in which we are imbued. I'm so thankful for the wisdom in which Rama, Alexander, you're conducting this inspired journey, and incredibly honored to be part of it as I walk alongside the wisdom of Grandmother Pauline and all of you. So greetings from the city of Hamburg, which I'm calling the city of waterways that connect us to the earth.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Nishan. And we are just zooming in for 1 minute into the Nuhaka school that Pauline introduced us to, where her father went, where the children presented for Pauline a very special dance that you all know. Let's see if you can get this video up, dear Muzi.
How powerful. It's beautiful, Fire Pauline, to be back in the Nuhaka school. We are now going even further back. Thank you so much, dear Brother Youssef, for being here to hand over this first PhD of the One Home University and being here to invest Fire Pauline as our Indigenous Elder in Residence. With this, we go even further back into the history of Aotearoa, to the Moriori people. And we have with us Barrister Maui Solomon, the grandson of the last surviving Moriori full-blooded person, a great admirer of Fire Pauline Tangiora, and on behalf of his people, the recipient of the World Future Council, the World Future Policy Award for Peace for Future Generations. We were so honored that the first meeting, as soon as we landed on the One Home journey, was with you. And we call upon you, dear Barrister Maui Solomon, to speak to us.
Oh, kia oranga. Thank you for that introduction, Rama. Firstly, kanui tamihi aroha, Dr. Fire Pauline. It's so lovely to see you after such a long time. You know, to actually be here to participate in you being awarded the inaugural PhD. I think that's fabulous, richly deserved after all the decades of service that you've unselfishly given of yourself. I had the privilege of working with Dr. Tangiora back in the 90s, doing some legal work for her people of Rungomai Wahine. And of course, Rongo Mai Wahine is, I'm sure your ancestress would be immensely proud, Pauline, that you've received this, and a fitting tribute. To Pastor Ray, good to see you, my Koori brother. We met in Geneva, I think, in 2023, in the WTO of all places. But there you go. And thank you for your introduction. And also, I just want to pay my respects to the First Nations Gadigal people who's hosting this event, and I send to you and your country and your ancestors my deepest and most respectful greetings and blessings. To Alexander and Rama, my good friends, even though we've just met for the first time, and Aotearoa recently, it's like we've known each other for a long time. And I greet you both and thank you for the honor of inviting me to attend this very special occasion and having the chance to speak a little bit about Moriori peace tradition. And it's also heartwarming to see other friends, Jenny Cracknell and Kate Jews, and others on the call as well. So ka aroha to you all. To the many distinguished guests gathered together for this Earth Family Call, I extend to you all a hearty kia oranga koutou, or greetings in Tāre Moriori. I've been asked to say a few words about the Moriori Covenant of Peace, known to us as Nanuku's Law. Moriori last year were honoured to be a recipient of one of the 4 top awards received from the World Future Council in the category of Peace and Future Generations. This award was the first time that Nanuku's Law of Peace had received international recognition of this kind, or indeed of any kind. Despite Nanuku's unbroken covenant of peace extending back over 500 years in my country's history, here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, there is very little attention, sadly, paid to it. I've been asked to give a sort of brief history about Moriori and the Peace Covenant. So Moriori, like Māori, are a Polynesian people. My ancestors settled these islands where I'm coming to you from, actually, known today as Chatham Islands, but to Moriori as Rekohu, or Misty Sun. The islands are located 800 kilometres east of Aotearoa. The ancestors came here in large double-hulled canoes direct from eastern Polynesia. For a time there was fighting and bloodshed, but Nanuku Whenua, a much venerated leader and spiritual healer, came among the warring factions and decreed they cease their fighting, and from that day forward to live in peace, sharing the resources of the land and the sea. He laid down a curse that should anyone disobey and break with the covenant, may their bowels rot. He further decreed that if there was any serious conflict between 2 men, they could fight with a wooden staff, twice the thickness of a thumb and the height of a man, and first blood drawn, fighting was to cease, with honour satisfied. The law was, thou shalt not kill. The people obeyed Nanuku's law, and the knowledge of the covenant was passed from one generation to the next through a ritual known as a tohinga, where a father would take his son to the tuahu, or the altar, where the old weapons of war were placed, and he would explain to the child that the power over life and death had been taken from the hand of man and placed in the hands of their gods. Moriori became a very chup, or sacred people, with karakia, or invocations and blessings for all creatures of the land and sea, and they developed a highly sophisticated rituals of greeting between themselves. The commitment to this covenant was put to the ultimate test when in 1835, their peaceful existence was shattered by the invasion of two tribes who came to Rekohu on an English sailing ship from Aotearoa seeking new land to conquer. Moriori met to decide what they would do about this invasion when the invaders' true intentions became known. Over 1,000 people debated, 1,000 Moriori debated over 3 or 4 days what response they would make to this aggression. The young men wanted to fight back against the invaders, but the elders forbade violent resistance because their law and their mana was based upon peace amongst mankind. And instead, they renewed their offer of peace and to share their island with the newly arrived peoples. But the two iwi, Ngāti Tama and Ngāti Mutunga, rejected this offer and killed over 300 people in the initial pogrom and enslaved the rest of the population of about 2,000 people. By 1870, only 100 Moriori, full Moriori, remained out of a population of about 2,000. Many died of kongingi or deep despair, while others died of their brutal treatment and harsh enforced labour. Meantime, the New Zealand colonial government knew what was happening, but declined to intervene. The final nail in the coffin came for Moriori when the colonial native court awarded 98% of all our land to the recent invaders. Many of the surviving Moriori had to leave their island and lost their connection to their home and with their Moriori identity. When my grandfather, Tommy Solomon, died in 1933, Moriori were declared to be extinct. I was taught this at school when I was a young man. We became an inconvenient truth in New Zealand history, and many damaging myths were taught in New Zealand schools about my ancestors. But since the early 1980s, Moriori descendants have made huge strides to recover and revive our identity and culture. At the centre of that revival, and the jewel in our collective crown, is the unbroken covenant of peace that we are honoured to share with the world. At the end of the day, when all of the wars are fought and the killing is done, humankind must learn to live together in peace with one another and with the other species we share this precious planet with. Moriori proved that it was possible for humans to live in peace and sustainably for over 500 years on our island home. We are proud to be able to share Nunuku's law with the world and to be a small part of the One Home journey for peace and sustainability. Me rongo, in peace.
Thank you. That was truly magnificent, sharing the story of centuries in minutes and taking us to how Nunuku's law is truly what we need for our future. And it's so beautiful to see you and Fire Pauline Tangiora together. Musi, if you could just put her back on the screen. And with this, we want to share what happened thereafter. After being with Fire Pauline in Mahia Peninsula, we moved to Wellington, where our dear colleague on the World Future Council, who was a chief architect of the World Future Policy Award for Peace for Future Generations, Alan Ware, had organized, had convened a peace walk, which began very symbolically at the Gandhi statue next to the Parliament. Very symbolic because we began the One Home journey at the Gandhi statue at the United Nations in Geneva. So again, a connection. So we want to thank Alan Ware, and I think, Musi, you have a couple of pictures to share from that peace walk, because in his typical fashion, he brought together the World Future Council, the UN Association of Aotearoa and New Zealand, Sokagakai International, and all of the key peacemakers of the country together, joining us in this peace walk. And what we want to share is that what Aotearoa was on the whole is such a celebration of what planetary partnership can really be like. And in this case, really how the partnership with the World Future Council from the beginning of the journey has been so key. And in this country, we could really see how it was highlighted. So I'm calling here our dear Alexandra Wandel, who has been the pillar of the World Future Council since its origins with Jakob von Uxkel, and has been our pillar of connection throughout the One Home journey, to say a few words.
Yes, hello, greetings everyone from Hamburg, Germany, where the headquarters is of the World Future Council. It is wonderful to see you. Greetings to our founding councillor, specifically Pauline Tangiora, honorary councillor, who has been here with us since the founding of the World Future Council. And I'm also very honored that we have today our award recipient with us of the World Future Policy Award on Peace and Future Generations. And just let me tell you that the World Future Policy Award is the world's premium policy prize. We have been celebrating it since the year 2009. Looking around the world, where do we have top policy solutions in the interest of current and future generations? Our founder, Jakob von Uxkel, has said we do not always have to reinvent the wheel. We can learn from each other. And the World Future Council has created this award to award best policies from around the world. And the Council is selecting every year a specific topic. Given that we have so many wars and conflicts currently around the world, it was decided to dedicate the award in the year 2024 to the topic Peace and Future Generations. We received more than 47 nominations from all continents, and an international jury, after a thorough evaluation, selected the 5 award winners. And congratulations again to Nunuku's Law for receiving one of the World Future Policy Awards 2024. The law is an absolute role model, highlighting again how the law and the implementation conducted by the Moriori is leading to non-violence, peace, and an amazing contributions to future generations. So we want to thank also Rama and Alexander from Home for Humanity for highlighting again the contribution of our honorary councillor Pauline Tangiora to the work of the World Future Council, but also highlighting today again the wonderful work of the Nunuku's Law, one of our award recipients. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear Alexandra Wandel, World Future Council. Wandel, by the way, for those who speak German, means change, transformation. And that's what you are advocating for so beautifully. We want to acknowledge also we have a little video on recording Maui Solomon, which we put the link of in the chat. If you want to go a little bit deeper, equally a short, very touching video of our dear grandmother, Pauline. And with that, we say not goodbye, because you are now going to travel with us, but we are moving now from Aotearoa, New Zealand, to Australia. And Australia has been a most significant 10 days, the land where the oldest people of the world are coming from, the oldest continuous civilization that we can record. And it has been in particular profound. And indeed, we didn't just touch base with history, but also with the origin of human consciousness, as you're going to see in a moment. But we want to invite one of the Aboriginal elders, our dear Auntie Sophia Pierce, on the screen to open our entering of the lands of the Aboriginal people in Australia with a blessing. Dear Sophia.
Nai Baliapa Yaku. I'm sitting Baliapa Yaku in Barkindji. I'm a Barkindji woman, I'm a Waku woman, I'm a Crow woman. I'm sitting on the lands of my ancestors. I'm close to the river, the mighty Milu. And my people also have a deep history to Lake Mungo and Mungo Man, one of our special people that we, you know, welcome back home to his homelands. I don't know what else to say. I'm very new to this. I'm a Barkindji mother. I'm a weaver. I'm also, I should say while I'm here, sorry, Uncle Ray Minikin, thank you for that beautiful welcome and acknowledgement of Gadigal country. I'm a long way from there. So thank you for that. And Grandmother Pauline, what a beautiful thing that knowledge is that you share amongst your people. And it's beautiful to see you here and acknowledging Grandmother's law. And it's something we as Barkindji people do. We follow our line through our mother. So I'm kind of pretty much honoured to be here today. And I thank you, Rama and Alexander, meeting you last week, earlier in the week, and spending some time with you on my country and being able to share some of my dreaming stories that I inherit and hand down to my children. So thank you for inviting me, and thank you for Uncle Ray and your family for beautiful acknowledgement. And yeah, it's just been a really beautiful part of being, you know, on the lands of Australia's oldest human remains. And, you know, our very culture comes from here. My father always tells we saw the first dawn from here and the first sunrise of that. So I feel very deeply connected to the country of my grandmother. And I try to share knowledge with anybody who listens. And we have also come from, you know, a colonial past and remain connected to the stories of our grandmothers. So I would also like to acknowledge all First Nations people here from across the world, well, over the ocean, that big wide water that separates us, but I also would like to pay my respects to the elders of those nations as well. So thank you very much, Alexander and Rama. And that's kind of me and my story.
Thank you. We are very thrilled that you, carrying the tradition of the Barkindji people, one of the 3 tribes that is the custodian of Mungo, could be here to open us. And now we will experience together this historic place, this origin of consciousness and life on Earth. Thank you, Muzi, for sharing an excerpt of the video. And you are welcome to watch the full video at leisure.
Thank you for this beautiful short video. What you have seen is actually a part of the experience that we just went through. We had been invited by Unity Earth, headed by Ben Bowler, whom you're soon going to experience, for the One Home Journey to join a particular inspiring conference in Mildura and in the Mungo National Park, UNESCO World Heritage, where the oldest human remains have been found. And we had an extraordinary experience with many Aboriginal elders present and sharing their wisdom. And you hear in a moment a bit more as we are inviting some of these elders, also those who share the stories of the original people of the land. We invite on the screen Jason Kelly, one of the story keepers of the Mati Mati people, who is with us today and a key protagonist also of the whole Mango project. We want to invite back also Sophia Pierce, joining us, representing the Bakanji Barinji people, and I do hope we have also Taya Phelps with us, who is from the Nyampa people. And please also, dear Ben Bola, whose father 51 years ago was discovered by Mango Man and Mango Lady, who found the original remains, who gave rise to what we now experience. We invite you on the screen, and we want you to share very briefly, perhaps a minute or two, each one of you, your particular perspective on the Mango project, what it represents for humanity, what wisdom is assembled there and is invited in order to be shared with the world as a whole. Perhaps, Jason, if you could open our circle, and I hope we can also have Ben joining us, Ben Bowler, the director of Unity Earth.
And before you speak, Jason, we just want to also acknowledge that as the culmination of the Unity Earth meeting, the Dreaming, we honored you with the Earth Artist Award, recognizing what you've done as the grandson of Alice Kelly. From your childhood, you knew that it would be part of your life's journey and responsibility to carry this heritage forward, and you've devoted your life to that. So we are very honored that you are acknowledged as an Earth artist, and we are thrilled that all the three tribes, the custodians of this sacred place, are here together on the screen with the son of the founder or the finder of Mango, Ben Bola.
Over to you, Jason, please.
Thank you very much. And it was really unexpected and quite a humbling and honoring experience. I want to introduce myself through language and acknowledge land. Yidi Madi Madi Wamba Wamba Tongi Pokomanama Pingali Perembai Yidin Ola Waranjiri Dangi Kaka Widow Metal Kaka Ura Pango Pango Morni. In my language, I'm introducing myself through Pokomanama, the red kangaroo, but also acknowledging my ancestors past and present. The land that I'm on now, I'm actually in Melbourne. And I heard Uncle talking before how you went to the Scar Tree. I'm actually in Melbourne for treaty work, and this morning we had a welcome to country by Wurundjeri at a Scar Tree on the grounds, a Scar Tree standing alone at the MCG. And this Scar Tree, they tried to cut it down. It was thought to be dead, but there's fresh branches growing off it and fresh green leaves of this tree that's been cut in half and still got the scars on it, but it's new life growing from it. So, and then to hear Uncle talking about the Scar Tree, where they're in Sydney, and to me to be here, having just recently left Mungo. Mungo, yes, it's. I guess that cultural obligations just come with you through birth. It's nothing. It's work that we do that's heart work, not hard work. But the experience of, and just coming back freshly from Mungo, as my grandmother, the home of the world's oldest continuous living culture, which Mungo Man and Mungo Lady proved to be. My grandmother always spoke about Mungo as being the center and the place of love, peace, and harmony. And she still, and for everyone that goes there, and everyone that just went there recently for the experience to celebrate the end of the 50-year dialogue for Mungo Man, but also acknowledging Mungo Lady also, So it was really really important that Taya as Nampa came and was able to dance for Mungo Lady as part of this ceremony that we had out at Mungo. But my grandmother, Alice Kelly, always spoke about Mungo, not only just the place of love, peace and harmony, but it's still the place today where the breath of the greater spirit is still alive and tangible today. And I think what was wonderful about the weekend to have everyone that come there at that time in that space, it is a place. Ben asked me the other day about my reflections of it, and it was really easy for me to straight away talk about. We talk about the dreaming, but this is a time where on the weekend where everyone that was there was present and sat in the dreaming and sat in them dreaming together. When my grandmother talks about, and it makes perfect sense because it's a place that talks to you through vibrations, through energy, through feelings, through connectedness to the ground, to the land, but also to the sky. And when you're there, we all of our ancestors are present, each and every one of us. And it's the place where you can go as a place of humanity where everything is connected, but we're not just there as ourselves as individuals. We are there as our ancestors also, because it's a place where our spirit not only connects to the land and the spirits of Mungo Man and Mungo Lady and everyone else. It's a place where your own ancestors, through your own energy and your own vibrations, are able to hold those conversations, those inner conversations with the ancestors from the land of Mungo Man and Mungo Lady. And in those times, we're not just descendants of the ancestors; we are the ancestors. As people, we are vessels in this life for the ancestor spirit to pass through, and then we have our own children and we pass that ancestral spirit on and on and on and on. So our ancestors are eternal because of us and our future generations, and we exist here in this time and place because of our ancestors before us. And Mungo brings that consciousness to that and that awareness. It's hard to put into words, and I'm doing it as best as I can, but that's the power of Mungo, and being able to have the relationships through your own spirits with all the other spirits around you and all the other brothers and sisters of the world, because yes, we are the world's oldest continuous living culture, and we are the indigenous people to this part of the world, but we are all indigenous to Mother Earth, and we all carry that connection. So I don't know what I could keep going and going, but I don't want to take up. I'd love for Taya to introduce herself as one of our Nyampa, because Mungo is the home of the free tribes.
Thank you so much, Jason. That was just so powerful, so touching, and so inclusive, which is the most powerful part of Aboriginal and Indigenous wisdom. We have here, Taya, some of the leaves that you and your girls danced with at Mungo. We've saved them. We wanted them to be with us here today in this wonderful Scar Trees Aboriginal ministry. So with this, we call upon you, please, to speak. Share your reflection.
Hello, everyone. I'm Taya, very proud Nipa Pakanji Marora woman. And so was very honored to be a part of the meeting the dreaming with Uncle Jim Bowler and his beautiful family, and being out on country, and Jason right beside us representing Mungo Man and myself representing Mungo Woman alongside my sisters and our I guess all of the young children that have connections out there as well, whether there was Muddy Nimpa or Barkanji. So I guess when you dance on country, it's a different feeling, and you're just giving back to mother, connecting, but also like singing in language on country as well. I read a status recently, and it was just like hitting the nail on the head how I was actually feeling. You know, our ancestors was right there beside us, goosebumps on our body. I guess every movement, you know, connecting the smells, the sounds, the people around you, you know. Yeah, I can't really add any more onto it as much as I want to. My head's aching at the moment. I've got a headache. But yes, I'm very honored, and thank you all for you know, who was out there on Saturday and Sunday for coming up and showing the love and respect, because it was just beautiful, all of us coming together as one. I guess that land, you know, when you go out to Mungo, you feel free, everything's fresh. And being the oldest remains out there in the world, I guess, you know, what else could you say? Like, when everyone's come together on that land and country, you know, unity, protection, the oldest remains, speaking our language on country, connecting with everyone around us. It's healing. It's everything in one. But yes, that's me.
Thank you so much, Thea. And as we have all four of you so beautifully connected on the screen, we want to now share what became a real highlight moment of Mungo, where what came up quite naturally, Jason, you said it, Ben, you had already felt it. You felt it probably all your years growing up, as did all the members of your family, which is that Mungo is a home for humanity. And all of you have echoed that. Sophia, from your opening words of blessing, Jason and Thea. So we want to take this moment with all four of you present there, representing past, present, and future, this award to Mungo as a home for humanity.
And with that, dear friends, we want to read out what is now in front of all of you on the screen. Mungo, home of Mungo Lady and Mungo Man, original country of the Mati Mati, Pakanchi and Gyampa people in New South Wales, Australia,
is herewith honored and recognized as an exemplary home for humanity for your courageous and continuous engagement in preserving Aboriginal culture and heritage, and your outstanding vision for a corroboree of humanity's combined Indigenous wisdom for the well-being of all life on Earth.
Awarded today on the 28th of February 2025. You always have been a home for humanity, but this story is for sure in a very intense way traveling with us now on the One Home journey. And we want to invite Sophia, Auntie Sophia, and Ben to respond and to share your perspective on Mungo as a home for humanity in brief. Sophia, please.
I think you're muted, Sophia.
Still muted.
Maybe
Sophia,
Ben.
you want to come in? Or Ben?
How's that?
Yeah, now we have you.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Thea. You know, I think thank you for that, you know, recognition. I think as a Barkindji woman, my great-great-grandmother is said to be buried in a traditional grave out there. Tomorrow marks a day where, you know, we're as Barkindji people and a Mungo people, we honoured Jim Bowler on the weekend. And, you know, without the recognition and the discovery or the revelation of Mungo Man to young Jim at the time of finding those remains of our special ones, Mungo was always, you know, we are Great Lakes people, so we come from a time before those lakes became dry. So we followed, and our dreaming story becomes a part of the water serpents and the dreaming of that place as water places. So that was also the significance of Mungo now as a national park, but it also, I guess, got UNESCO recognition with finding, the oldest human remains in Australia. The centre, really, of Australia, in which I believe came from our countries. And Mungo Man is proof of that. So in honouring Dr. Jim Bowler, I was very much appreciated that I was a part of being asked to sit on the discussion panel around how do we begin to look at education and keeping dreaming stories and our connections to those places. So I think for me, Ben, I'm forever grateful that I was able to, speak in and around some of the things that I do as a cultural educator, the work I do in the primary school where my kids all attend school, and the work I do with community at a higher education level in sharing those dreaming stories. And Mungo is always one of those places that we encourage our visitors to go visit and take the time to look at, this place that was once a thriving, metropolis of a watery place where all of our ancient creation ancestors still sit there awaiting. And by the sounds and vibrations of Taya's group and Jason's group dancing, I think it's forever that continuing and keeping our spirit ancestors alive in that place. So, I guess in that sense, Unity Earth and the work that Jim Bowler has done in his lifetime, forever grateful. So that's where I come from as part of, who I am. You'll go, Ben.
Beautiful. Thank you. So beautiful to have heard all three of you. And now we hand to you, dear Ben.
Well, thank you, Sophia. Beautiful remarks, and it's really special to be here with Taya and Brother Jason. I think this is a strong seed for the future, and Taya sending you lots of love and healing energy for your headache as well, poor thing. Amazing program, Rama and Alexander. Thank you so much to Pastor Ray and your family, and Grandmother Pauline, and Dr. Yusuf, and Brother Maui, and all of the speakers. It's been a wonderful program, a credit to Home for Humanity. Yes, Mungo is a home for humanity. It has been for millennia. And to be acknowledged in this way by the One Home Journey, I think is really important for the future, because the work that Jason has done and is doing, the educational work that Sophia is doing in the community, the work that Taya is doing, and many others, centers around this incredible story. And we're all in some way spinning around this great big story. So now, Rama and Alexander, you've been baptized in the waters of Lake Mungo, which is not just physical water, but is the spiritual essence of this ancient universal story. And Jason's vision for a regular return of Indigenous-led ceremonies out there through the corroboree, surrounded by the whole global community coming together in festivals that will go forward from here, is a very powerful ongoing vision. The weekend that just happened was a very significant moment for my dad and for our family. Here in the room with my mother and some of my older sisters, so acknowledge them. But there were a lot of very emotional moments. It was a big hill to climb, and as always, there were a lot of beauty and a lot of joy along the way. So very happy that Jim was happy, and Mum, and the expressions we received afterwards from Sophia and Taya and Jason were, very much the acknowledgement that this had been a positive event for all of us. And I think that is the healing story. And in there is so many dimensions: intercultural, intergenerational, educational, celebrational. It all comes down to this, as Jason has said from his grandmother, so loyally through these years of holding Mungo as that place where your worries and your anxieties disappear. And you go out there and it's like a portal, some people may say, to another dimension and to a healing place and space. So I think what's important in this moment, Rama and Alexander, is we celebrate what happened, but we also look forward to what is to come. And I think that the seeds that have been sown for the future, global, universal humanity celebrated, led by Indigenous brothers and sisters out in that sacred place, is something that I'm very excited about and looking forward to working with everybody on. And lastly, let me just say thank you, Rama and Alexander, for the effort and the energy to come to Australia and bring your particular unique brand of the One Home Journey, which is this incredibly ambitious project over 7 years to visit every country. We were grateful that you came to Australia, that you came to Melbourne and to Mungo and Mildura, and you're now in Sydney. You've achieved so much, and now off to Japan. Please give our love and blessings to the Sayonji family on your onward journey, and deep gratitude to you for coming our way, and we look forward to when you shall return. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, what's so special about this particular call is all of you have been paying tribute to Thea, grandmother Pauline, and to Maui Solomon, and we connected that with Mungo, and in a moment we'll be coming back here where, just like the four of you on the screen, we will be with Auntie Glendra Stubb, the elder in residence at Technical University, with Uncle Ray and Auntie Sharon, and in their center is sitting Gillian, who has been, like you, Ben, you know, and your family, working so much with these elders who've been healing the pain of the stolen generations, of all of those children who have lost so much. So it's just such a beautiful moment that we are all together here. But as we go to pay homage to the ancestors back through the millennia, we want to all come together into Mungo and experience the magic. This is a marvelous video that Alexander made. We just see a minute of it, and then we could all this evening or later in the day watch more of it. And that'll be the bridge from time past to this moment here through you.
Thank you, Jason, Sophia, Thea, and Ben. And
I just want you to see, Sophia, your beautiful blessing feathers and clapsticks made by your hand, which will travel with us.
And as you see the video, we will show you the video in silence, because I'm going to read a little Mungo Man and Mungo Lady poem. But as we listen to it, do reflect on what touched you in this call. Where did the deep Indigenous and Aboriginal knowledge and wisdom that we were exposed to, that you were willing to share with us,
you'll hear more of,
where did it take you? Where is it going to lead us into a regenerative future? Share in the chat as we are tuning into Mungo Man and Mungo Lady. Mungo Man, buried in desert sands, laid down with, oh, so caring hands. Now he and his lady are back on the scene, calling us forth to meet the dream. And the chorus is, Mungo Lady, Mungo Man, call us forth to dream again. What have you done with my people? What have you done to my land? You don't know yourself. You don't understand. Mungo Lady, Mungo Man, call us forth to dream again. Time for meeting the dreaming of a primordial time, ancestral power, wisdom divine. Dreaming gives us a seeing how we came into being, in what systems we must live, how to give and forgive. Mungo couple bridges the gap, placing a treasure in our lap to co-author a new statement of unity across all divides, embracing the we. Can we heal the pain? Can we right the wrong? Can we live as one? make our future strong. Responsibility, acceptance, relationship, respect are the pointers to a future healthy, intact. Boom, 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 boom. Our hearts can seed the story of restoring the glory of a people connected to country, to land, caring for future generations forever again. Mango lady, mango man, call us forth to dream again.
Thank you. Thank you, Musi, for that sharing. And with that, and with our deep, deep gratitude to what we experienced, also, dear Ben, for this extraordinary partnership, as we said earlier in Aotearoa with World Future Council, the partnership with Unity Earth, and this time with Unity Earth Australia, has been so invaluable from the well before the beginning of this journey, and will continue to be as we travel together. So now we come back home, where it all began at the start tree. We call you, dear Sharon, to come a bit closer into the picture. And we haven't yet heard the voice of Elder Glendra Jackson and Auntie Sharon. So perhaps we come back to you and we would ask each of you to say a few words. And really the question is, there's so much what each one of you has done and is doing and will continue to do in your lives is such a healing for this nation, not simply for the Aboriginal peoples, but really for the rest of the population, the original settlers, but all those who are coming here to learn from you. And right now, as our world is in such a divided and devastated state, evermore, there is so much more we can learn from you on how to heal and how to build a future that would be a home to all life on earth. So we would love to hear from you. Should we come back to you, dear? We haven't heard your voice though, so let us start with you, Auntie. Your message to the future, your wisdom.
Well, it's an honor to be here. It's a real honor. Oh, it's an honor to be here. It's truly an honor. I love the poem. It, brings my heart joy. And I just think that, we as Aboriginal people cannot do this journey alone without having our non-Indigenous brothers and sisters. We can't do this journey alone without holding hands with our non-Indigenous brothers and sisters and taking them along with us on this journey. Gillian is a perfect example of this. We've worked with the Stolen Generations for a long, long time, and there's no one that's not more staunch about, supporting us because, it's still going on. We have 50% of our kids in the out-of-home care system that are our kids. We're 3% of the population. We can't do this without our brothers and sisters, our non-Indigenous brothers and sisters holding our hands and also saying this isn't okay. When we think of the march over the Harbour Bridge, and I had quite a bit to do with that, Uncle Ray? It was 250,000 people marched across the Sydney Harbour Bridge to say, we didn't know this happened and we don't want it to happen again. We need to rally the troops, Uncle Ray, so it doesn't happen again. Because each one of our kiddies that is traumatised or disconnected from their culture will not be at their full potential. And we all want our kids to be at our full potential. So I thank you for this opportunity. I really, really am honoured to be part of this journey. And it is a journey, a big one you've taken on. Credit to you guys.
Thank you. It has been just such an honor to meet you and to tap into just the wealth of wisdom and of giving and giving and giving that has been the story of your life, Auntie Glendra.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Excuse me. I think there's so much more we could hear from Auntie Glendra, and perhaps if I could just share a little bit of a story about the quilt making that Auntie Glendra does, which she makes special quilts for children who have been removed from their families. So they have something to hold on to that signifies love that they can wrap around them. And so these quilts represent being wrapped in Auntie's love. And many of the young people who have been in care really find this a very special thing, but not only for children in care. If ever Auntie comes across someone in need, and she also makes them for children with cancer and takes them into the hospital and gives them to those children, or even if it's an adult who she thinks just needs a little bit of something extra to get them through, she will make them a quilt. So that's just one of the many, many things that Auntie Glendra does in this very practical way. She's always stopping and spending time with people and making sure that they're okay. The other quick thing I wanted to mention is we've lost a very dear elder to us called Uncle Brian Butler very recently. And if he were here, and I wish he was, he would perhaps tell you about his campaign for lateral love, which is sometimes in communities that have been damaged and deeply hurt and traumatized, sometimes that damage can turn on itself and on each other. And he was very concerned about that here in this country. And he started a campaign which he had hoped would go global. We never quite got there, called Lateral Love, which is about going the opposite way to lateral violence. And I think fits very well with this One Earth and Home for Humanity concept. So that's what I want to share, and also to honour dear Uncle Brian.
Thank you, dear Gillian Brannigan, also former co-chair of the Sorry Day Commission, and also very closely connected to initiatives of change, which we just simply want to acknowledge also as a major host of our Australian immersion of the One Home Journey in Melbourne, in Sydney, and globally as well. So all our IOFC friends, initiatives of change, thank you for your support. And I do know also that our dear friend, Pastor Ray Minigan, also have been very connected to initiatives of change.
Oh, yeah. Look, I just want to acknowledge all you mob out that way, Barkindji mob, for telling the story of Mungo Man again to us, and Mungo Lady. My wife in the background here. But I also want to acknowledge that Mungo Man still lives, and he's still fighting, because there's a young man out there who started the Aboriginal Political Party, and his name is Owen Wyman, and he wants to get out there and put his voice into the politics of this country. We need that voice. It's a desperate need at this moment. But I just take my hat off to Owen, coming from your country and standing up on the stories that he knows about Mango Man, but also standing up to say that Mango Man still lives in me, and he wants to still continue the fight for peace and harmony in our world. Yeah, for me, I do a lot of stuff around the climate crisis, or climate justice, or climate change, whichever language we use. And there are four things from Indigenous people that we always bring to the table. One is the concept of land rights. The land rights. It's a political thing now. It's beyond Aboriginal land rights. It's now every human being on the planet must stand up for their land rights. On the flip side of that, we're saying also that not only do we have rights to the land, but the land also has rights. And so too as the oceans, and so too as the air, and all the animals, and everything has a right to exist, and a right to a future that is not disturbed by those who are greedy and want to pollute the land. So that right is there. And the third thing we want to say too is that in the climate crisis has now escalated into a human right. It is our right to live on this planet, to provide for our family and our friends with clean water, with clean air, with good food, all the things necessary to sustain humanity. That's our right. And that's what we're fighting for as Indigenous peoples, is to make sure that we have that right. And if there's one thing that's missing, for me anyways, personally, that I can't seem to see even in the UN and with all the things that are happening, we need to make sure that we get some kind of an accountability in place to keep us accountable to the things that we're doing. Now, we know as Aboriginal people, you know, before 1788, we looked after our country. The law is in the land, and we obeyed that law. That's why we kept it so pristine in its environment. We looked after it. They distorted it in 200 years. And we're trying to find out now whether our traditional ecological knowledge can actually help to turn around this incredible crisis that's facing us. I now am a great-grandfather, and I don't know what kind of a future I'm leaving him. It worries me. And I have to get out there and lend my voice. I just came from Darwin. They've got a new little jail there where they're putting our 10-year-old kids. I mean, that's our future. That's genocide that they're practicing just by doing that, because those young people are now not looking after country or getting access to the knowledge of the elders to look after country. And on the way back on the plane, there was one young fellow there who was being escorted. I just wanted to give him an apple. I did hold my anger and my rage and my patience, because I don't like seeing my young children, our young children, caught up in this mess that we haven't created. It's not from our hands, not from our elders, but we've got to continue to fight for those things. That's why I'm saying, from Mungo Man to Owen, brother, I'm there for you, and I hope that his party gets through. Go out there and vote for him. And here's my wife. Actually, she represents another part of our struggle, not just for land rights, but for water rights, because she comes from Torres Straits, and some of their islands are going under at the moment because of the sea rising and because of climate crisis. And we're very concerned about that future as well.
Hi, my name is Sharon, and like Ray said, my family's from the Torres Strait in Algarve, and also South Sea Island, Tanna Island, where our people came over to work on the sugar cane.
They were forced over here, taken.
I was just saying that.
60,000.
Okay, yeah, they were forced over here for the sugar cane. So that's part of my family. And we've been living here in Gadigal country for over 30 years. And we've been working with the stolen generation, the families, especially the older ones that used to come to our home and tell us their stories and things that I never heard before years ago. And it was just amazing to be a support for the families that came to us and listen to their stories. And it was great that we were able to help, like with Ray, to help them to start their organisation so they can find their own healing and be in charge of what they wanted for themselves. And we were there just to support that. And we work through the church here. We work across all denominations. And I guess one of the things we say to the church, your church stands on stolen land, and what are you giving back to our people? And this is the church we are at now, which is St. John's Anglican in Glebe, in the heart of the city. And we work in partnership with them, and then found out they had a scar tree on the land here, and that really you know, consolidate really what our ministry was going to be, to, you know, that represented our people, and to develop a beautiful connection for our people with this land, and to access all the services that this church offers. So we've worked over, well, probably 10 years here now. And also through that, we also started a school for our primary. We wanted to start from kindy and go that way up to the high school. So we've got a private Indigenous school working in with the Anglican Cathedral, St. Andrew's Cathedral School. So I work 1 day a week with them, and recruit the little ones to come to the school, and we look after the families there. So we work with all the organisations within the city, in Glebe especially. With our NAID, especially through our NAIDOC, which is a National Aboriginal Islander Week, where we got the big shopping centre on board, the schools, the medical centres, the businesses. Did I say the school? Yeah, schools, and City of Sydney. And it's just amazing how when we get together and we work together, and what things can change, and we can change the atmosphere of people's understanding and knowledge about our people. Because a lot of them, and also we run once a month where we can come together and gather together, where non-Aboriginal people can come and have fellowship with us as well as Aboriginal people. So we've made a space for that. And because in the big city, they go, where's the Aboriginal people? I can't see them. Well, we said, you've got no excuse. We've got something here. So come, it's up to you. Come, and we made a space for us to sit together, learn together, and work together. Amen.
Amen.
That was. I think you can trade with him. You don't take over.
She's going to trade, do you?
Yes, sorry everyone, but we could talk for hours and we won't take your time, but I just wanted to gift this to Rama and Alexander. This beautiful scarf was gifted to us from Anival, and she was one of the children who was taken, who we were talking about, the stolen generations, and taken to a home called the Cootamundra Girls' Home. And we would love you to take this on your journey with you. It's called, the meaning of the painting on there is learning together.
Oh, beautiful.
So please.
Thank you. As Gillian just said, you can feel how we are just scratching only the surface of the depth and extent of Aboriginal wisdom, of Maori wisdom, of Indigenous wisdom, which is truly what is the foundation for our future. We know that this session...
Let me come in with adding one word to the Indigenous and Aboriginal wisdom, which I know is very dear to you, dear Pastor Ray, which is also the new praxis that is emerging, the activism and the innovations on the ground that are built, new political voices that are emerging. Yes. This is also and the learning spaces that you are building at your university, that you are building here, that is what brings us together and creates foundations to build the future.
And we should mention that Jason Kelly is also one of the first elected members of the First Nations Assembly, the first Aboriginal Assembly in Victoria. Oh, yeah. So also very politically active, and he was the author of the resolution that led to the Truth Commission. So really, the younger generation becoming politically active in new ways is a great thing. We know that this is...
to say there too, is if you look at Indigenous people's activism, we're not terrorists, but we do feel that we are being terrorized continuously through colonial structures and powers.
Thank you for saying that. Such an important point. We know that everyone on this call has been so deeply moved, and there are other Indigenous people here from many different parts, from the African countries where we've been traveling, from South Asia. We wanted to have actually a breakout group so you could get to know each other in more intimate settings. But as always, the wisdom is so great in the room that may be a bit short, but we would love to invite you into a moment of sharing your thoughts, your reflections, what has inspired you, what do you want to know more about, what has moved you, and so that those relationships across the oceans, across our continents, can begin right here. So maybe we go into gallery view. We ask as many of you as can open your cameras to please do so in this moment. And just share with us, each one of you, what has moved you. Yes, please write it into the chat so we can save that for the future. And as you do that, I want to acknowledge, we mentioned initiatives of change. We've been, both of us, Alexandra and myself, very dear friends and participants in initiatives of change over the years. We want to thank John Bond for bringing us together with Uncle Ray, Auntie Glenda, also Daya and Mohan Bhagwan Das were on this call, who hosted us, who met us at the airport and took us to their homes, and to class, yes, and to the beautiful event we had at Armagh with Mike Owen and many others there, and to thank Graham and Sally, Cordona here, in whose beautiful home, the little paradise in the middle of the city of Sydney, we've been living. So really being able to fulfill our commitment to travel home to home, celebrating the hospitality, the love, the sharing, the quilt, you know, and experiencing the quilt of love today with Auntie Glendra, Uncle Ray, and Auntie Sharon, and our Auntie Gillian, who's been with us since the beginning of our arrival in Sydney.
Auntie in training.
Wonderful. So just being together, and also this is the moment where you as Indigenous elders, you as peacemakers, you as younger people, my parents are here as well, who've been with us always. Dearest Dr. Yusuf Mahmood, who is our great inspiration. Rook, one of our youth envoys from an Indigenous community in Kenya, is with us, who's a deep young youth activist, and also works with, he's both a scientist and works with autistic children. So many of you do share your reflections, and we'll share a couple of them also with each other.
Yeah, please share them in writing. We want to respect also the time, and it was an incredible overflow of sharing. I suggest we do one thing in holding the deep line that we have built up. Let's spend 2 minutes in silence together while we are listening. While we are listening to Uncle Banner singing a song and bringing the sounds of the whales of Mother Nature that you so potently evoked into our midst, while we reflect, while we feel wrapped in Auntie's quilt of love, which is so required for healing. Musia, hope you can get the song up, just a song, so we can see each other and presence each other.
And write our thoughts into the chat. And truly feeling connected to each other across all the continents. Africa.
And Uncle Banner joined us in Mango Man last weekend. His presence is felt.
unite yes, for those of you who would want to know, this is Uncle Bana Lowry. He and his family, he performs with his whole family. They go not just to huge concert halls, but also into remote Aboriginal communities to connect through song and stories, all of this land. And Colored Stone is his group, almost coming up to 50 years since they were created. And they will be here at Sydney Opera House performing in the middle of May. So we will get that information and share it with everyone who can be here. We are so grateful that we could be with him. We would just love to call a couple of voices. It's beautiful that we have a couple of people calling in from Africa, calling in from, well, Brandon, you just joined from Mexico. Very short, just so we connect the continents so that we feel one family across the continents. And then we turn back to our dear elder Yusuf, Mahmoud, and come back home to the Scarred Tree Ministries to Uncle Ray to close us in a couple of minutes. Rook, would you like to say a word? You're connecting for the first time, perhaps, a young man, our youth envoy for the future from Kenya. Rook, what struck you today?
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Rama. Thank you, Alexander. And thank you for all the work that you all are doing. It was a really nice experience having you in Kenya. And we appreciate the work you're doing in the world to make our Earth a truly livable place. Thank you all.
And what struck you today, dear Rook? What was the most important for you today? Connecting with the wisdom from Aotearoa and Australia.
Well, seeing the mango and the origin of the indigenous people of Australia was really enlightening, and it shows your concern for indigenous people and their culture, and how all of us evolved from being simple to the present day people that we can share.
Thank you.
Rama here, Dad.
Oh, that's my father. Yes, Dad. Your video was a minute. It's gone off again.
After your excellent meeting that you had now with the Maurice and then the award they gave you and all that. Very, very interesting talk you had. And the gentleman there also told us the story of Maurice for the last 500 years. It was very interesting and very useful to us. We have heard your talk clearly, very nice and very interesting, and I'm glad to know how making good connection with Maurice, which is so far you had no chance. Now you got a good chance, you did a good job, and I'm sure you'll come in handy in the future also. Now the connection is that Maurice are one of the most known Aborigines and natives of different countries in the USA, in England also, very interesting. And very special to all of you. My regards to all the audience and the local people who are new to the local areas who are taking a good part in this. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much to all of you. Wonderful.
Thank you, our parents in Bangalore. They are our elders in residence. And maybe one word from Mexico.
From John, I think. From John, who, John, you have been so involved with Gillian and all those here. So do say a word. Thank you for connecting us to so many precious, precious souls in this country.
Well, it's wonderful to see everyone. Thank you. You gave me so much. I always think of the inspiration I've gained from all of the people that I worked with in Australia in the whole struggle for the stolen generations, and that's a constant memory for me. Thank you, Glendra. Thank you, Gillian. Thank you, Ray and Sharon and all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Let's. It's beautiful that so many of the members of the Bowler family are here. Marianne And Jenny, it's just lovely. We are carrying you with us every single moment of this journey. It's beautiful that Daya, Mohan, you are both here. We are just carrying this feeling of being in your home and so cared for. Graham and Sally would have loved to be here, but they have a family commitment. But we have just so been loved and taken care of there. So we are really grateful. Is there anyone else who wishes to share something? And if not, we hand over to Youssef Mahmood, who's on his way to Tunis to board a plane to the UK, but delayed it because he wanted to be here for this meeting. So he is literally packed and ready to go. But just, it's beautiful you could stay till the end of the call to share your reflections before our closing by Uncle Ray.
Thank you so much. I am speechless. It's such a beautiful session. I was thinking about the world and the healing it needs. When you look at the origin of the word heal, which, as you know, as a linguist, I always look at the etymology of words. It comes from all kinds of languages, but the main meaning is it means repairing what has been in disrepair. It means whole, making something whole. So healing is about making us healthy. It's helping us recover from dis-ease. And the world is dis-eased as we speak. It's in trauma. And we need the wisdom of our elders to help us through that healing journey until the emergent world that will bring us together dawns upon us. So thank you for reminding us that there are treasures, there is wisdom. In my language, we say when there is need for healing, do not ask a doctor. Ask an experienced person who's been through it. So thank you for sharing with us your wisdom and reminding us there are wells of healing treasures in your part of the world. We all need it. Thank you so much for your wisdom and your time and dedication. Thank you.
Close with some language from the Gunian people with a little story behind it. It's just only a very short sentence. But the West Australian government sent up a troop of police as well as military because they had accused this little tribe of killing some of their people. And there's a huge big monument dedicated to these three people in the Fremantle Park. And the plaque calls them treacherous natives. And so when I went up there to tell the people about this and to ask what we should be doing about it, they said these words, and it sits, I think, with me. It's been sitting with me all the time. It's just this in their language. It's Waraja Ngalu Wandunya. Waraja Ngalu Wandunya. It simply means let's sit down together as one in peace. Waraja Ngalu
Wandunya. The perfect time to ask Auntie Sharon to share this beautiful artwork, which speaks exactly to that. And so, Auntie Sharon, perhaps you could invite everyone in to this with those beautiful closing words. Okay.
This was done by one of our young people that is in this community. Now she has passed away. And in honor of her, I just wanted to, it was our NAIDOC theme, and it was keep the fire burning. And we made this amazing art piece. She did, and we want to take a picture of this, you know, to keep this fire going, you know, this message of peace and for humanity. So we're going to just take a picture.
And just imagine all of yourselves inside
yourselves
this
are in
heart.
here.
All of us together in this one.
Rama, you also come in the picture. You're not there.
You're in the picture.
Alexander and you both, it will be nice.
It's all about love. Love yourself. Love your planet.
Yeah, Rama is not seen at all. My friends here sitting there.
You can see the mother is protecting her daughter. And
No, I'm not protecting anybody. I'm protecting what people are saying. You all come. It is nice. Alexander, you also come behind Rama.
So with this, we all step symbolically into this heart. We want to thank what we received today. I think we all feel we have drunken healing potion from the source. And for that, gratitude to our elders, gratitude to the land. We are going to travel with this potion and spread it wide and far. We meet again on March 8 in Hiroshima, in Japan. And all are invited. The invitation will come soon. But for today, gratitude for this moment in the heart of Australia, in the heart of the Aboriginal people, in the heart of Aotearoa, the heart of the Maori people, the Moriori people, gratitude.